First of all, I've never made six figures or been anywhere close. My best year, which was the year before, was 56.
I know you're glad, right? Because now you've quadrupled your income for the whole year. Who knows what that's going to end up looking like. All right, guys, this is Dave Witcher, President of FFL Velocity. Welcome to Weekend Warrior Podcast. And this week, we're actually going to talk about a Weekend Warrior and Mr. Mike Curry, who's joining us today. Say hi, Mike.
What's up, guys?
And we're going to give him lots of clapping because he actually wrote 22K Friday, Saturday. He's in here dialing today. Another 7-8 appointments on a Sunday. There's a tip there. Weekend Warriors, let's go. So anyway, back to Mike. And, so here's the thing. I met Mike a little bit ago. He's plugged in the Charlotte office. We have our grand opening actually tomorrow. And that's pretty exciting. But I think, Mike, hey, listen, as we start talking about this, let's talk about some things that maybe you've learned since you've been in the office. So, guys, we have work spots. Please make sure you're on work spots. It's kind of a no-brainer. Honestly, if you're not on it, you probably shouldn't be here. Honestly, I have to say that because it's $99. You're going to save 25, 30% a week on your leads, whether you have an office or you don't, you get plugged into your upline's office, whatever the case may be, or an office you can get to. So WorkSpots is where it's at, and Mike can talk about a little bit of that. But Mike, tell us about just a little bit about just a brief synopsis of your career so far, so people that don't know you, and then we'll talk about the weekend a little bit.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on here. So it's kind of been a whirlwind. So I started full-time back in December. And just kind of came out swinging, wrote 26 my first month, my first 30 days. Have consistently, wrote business, hired, and, I went full-time off of pressure from my wife. She wanted to come home from work and gave me a couple things to do to get done. So she's actually coming home, I want to mention that, in July. So just grinding away, trying to get better, and happy to be here.
Cool. So what was I'm going to give you a clap for that because I think it's going full time is awesome. So you were part-time in the beginning, right? What kind of background did you have before this, and what kind of money you make? Because I know we talked about this before, but I want to hear it again.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So I was a appliance repairman. So I worked for a couple different companies, but I was full-time, blue collar. Didn't have any type of sales experience. I had. Obviously, I went into people's clients' homes to repair appliances, so I had a little bit of understanding of etiquette inside of someone's house. So coming from that, when I saw Family First Life, I saw a lot of the big numbers, which if you're watching this, you see some crazy numbers here. And it wasn't so much, I didn't have the belief in myself at the beginning, and a lot of people don't, that I could come here and even write 20K, 20, 30, 40, the crazy numbers, like I said, that you see. But I just thought, if I could write 10, I could really start to change my life and my family's life. And like I said, my wife had a dream of someday staying home with the children. We have two kids, 3, or Mason will be 4, and Haley will be a year old in July.
They're awesome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And so I had the goal of okay, I'm going to do this part time. I think a lot of people, come into this, they just want to try it, and they may not think that it's something they can do. Me personally, that was my viewpoint, but I went 0 for 10 part-time, my first, and a lot of people crush it here, so I don't want to sound like you can't do this part-time, but with my work schedule, the way that, I didn't know when I was going to be home, 10 calls a day, work schedule, it was really hard to buy leads or invest in leads and then be able to call a client that wants me to come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm not home till 5. So with that being said, she pushed me, she's like, we just got to go all in, because I've never seen anything like this, and just had to make a decision to believe in myself, go all in, and I'm so glad I did. So I've been able to a little over, without this month, a little over 212,000 I think I've issued. Wow. Since December, and that's somebody that I don't feel like I'm that great either. Just continually show up, buy leads, book appointments. Just following the system that Family First Life and Sean and you and everybody else, has gone before me to create.
Yeah, and you got an amazing upline with Jamie, and of course, Grady, and they're, Jamie's good leaders, right? And, 50, 60K. We were out in Los Angeles, saw him talk about that, and leading from the front. That's a big thing here. And Grady was the same way. So, and Grady's helped me so much. But we're just one big team, guys, and that's the thing. I mean, Mike, I don't look at Mike as any different. He's part of my team as far as I'm concerned, and that's how I treat him. And but we should have your wife in here because she's awesome, and your kids, man. But it's good to see. What was that? So your wife made this like she pushed you into this. Why was that? What was it that she saw? She saw something in you. Obviously, she believes in you. Otherwise, she wouldn't have pushed you. But what was it? Is it just? I mean, because you were making what were you making before? And so you just said 200 and what was it again?
It was 200. That's before June, so
Right,
this
before
month.
June. Right.
So 212. I've issue
Right.
paid since December.
So, and I'll so he wrote 22,000 this weekend. Just saying. So he's actually like 222, halfway to Hall of Fame, right at it. So he's going to write Hall of Fame for sure. I'll get that done in the next few months, I believe. So with that said, so guys, understand our comp is so high, as you can see in the background right here. Right there. Well, that's perfect right there. I didn't know I could do that. But anyway, so, and where Mike is, he is. But the point is, it's well over 100%, okay? And he's earned that. And so with that said, when he's talking about 225, he's had a couple 100,000 deposited in your account. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So what was that compared to what you used to make?
Yeah, it's huge because first of all, I've never made six figures or been anywhere close. My best year, which was the year before, was 56,
Wow.
and I was sad. And I hate saying this, but I was satisfied. I was content. I had been doing appliance repair for 8 years, so it was easy, simple. I mean, obviously you have challenging days, but like it wasn't really something that I was, looking to get out of. But her belief in me came from, I think, my work ethic. She obviously she knows me better than anybody, and knows that the thing about what I do, really, I think that helps me here is I get obsessive. And
Love that.
what I mean by obsessive, yeah, like I'm all out with whether it was my fitness. It doesn't matter what I do. I don't do anything less than 110%. And I think she saw that and realized that if I put 110% into this, that I would get the crazy success that you see. So she, my belief has really been built over the last few months, just working, and the growth the money is amazing, but the growth on a personal level that you gain here just from being around, people that have, I mean, there's just so much success here. I can't say enough good things about Family First Life.
Yeah, I can't either. And we do have great leadership, and I think that's the thing. There's a blueprint that's already created. You clearly followed that blueprint. But when you made the transition, there was probably some fear, right? But I know you're glad, right? Because now you've like quadrupled your income or something like that, and you're gonna. I mean, for the whole year, who knows what that's gonna end up looking like? But to change your life, right? And what would you say to somebody out there who's kind of looking at this and just kind of maybe they're part time already, or maybe they're thinking about joining FFL, or maybe they're with another IMO, which is we're trying to save them.
Yeah, so honestly, I have a lot because I'm hiring, and I have a lot of conversations with people in that position, and I can't speak for everyone. All I can tell you is my experience, and I think most of the people that you speak with would give you a very similar experience. Not going all like. You can look around, and if you're watching this, you're probably watching it out of curiosity, and you see, like I said, all the gaudy numbers. Like, there's nothing about any of us that is special. Like, I for sure don't think I'm anything special. So it's like, look at the system, look at the people, look at everything that Family First Life has built these last 7 years, the growth that we've had, the new agency, like there's so much success, and it's the large majority. Like, I don't really know anyone who doesn't succeed here that puts in the work. Like, I can honestly say that. So I think if you look at that, you're only selling yourself short not to go all in, and buy the leads and give it 30 to 90 days, all out effort, and then turn around and look at how far you've come.
Yeah, that's true, and it's a simple system. We get the leads, we dial it. We were talking earlier, and I want you to share about your weekend, And then you had said something to me, something I said to you a little bit ago. And I'm not looking for credit here, but I am from a standpoint of sometimes I hear Andrew, right? I hear Sean, I hear other people say it. And that's what I did. I just went out and just duplicated what they told me to do. And I just listened. And Mike's doing the same thing when it talks to, whether it's being around me, Robbie, Grady, Jamie, whatever, hearing something Sean says, Andrew, he's just following the blueprint. He's not questioning it. Now, it might have took him a minute, but he's obviously picked it up really quick. We're at Hall of Fame this year, so that's awesome. And so can you just talk about this weekend and your mentality that's changed over the last few weeks, whatever you heard, and how that helped you to where you are now, where you just wrote, like I said, 22,000, submit over the last couple of days?
Yeah, absolutely. And, a couple weeks ago, Jamie Cheerio has helped me so much and I have to mention this for sure because he's helped me so much grow as a person. The leadership there, being with Living Hope, the crazy, because I was one of the original ones there, just seeing how much growth that he's been able to help lead. So being on live dials, but as far as the office goes and being around you, Dave, and then also Grady, the simple. You told me a couple weeks ago to break down because I was trying to get over that hump, the 20 to 30K. I was like consistent, and I know it's probably, I want to get to 40, I want to get to 50, and I want to grow. I don't want to be the guy that hits Hall of Fame in December. I want to hit it in June. Obviously, I'm not there, so I want to hit it, August, September, October. And you made a comment. You mentioned focus on 15 appointments every dial day, and doing whatever you got to do to submit 10K a week. And do I always get there? I do not. However, if that's my main goal, it's going to happen more often than not, as long as I'm buying enough leads. And then Grady mentioned to me a couple weeks ago that, the expectation, the same thing. And again, it's all a system, but it's like focus on submit 10K a week and issue pay 30 to 40 a month. That should be your goal every single month. So just applying that and breaking it down rather than looking at it in the entire month, like break it down into action steps, right? Daily goals, like focus on today. Don't focus on next week. Focus on today. What are you doing today? Okay, so I'm trying to get ahead for dial day, so that's why I came in here. I know that we got some stuff going on tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be distracted tomorrow afternoon. I want to hang out, so I want to get ahead on my appointments. I don't want to sacrifice my 15 appointments and then show up in the morning and be at 8, and then my Tuesday, Wednesday, be messed up. So I'm trying to overcompensate to give myself room to be able to grow and also to increase my skill level. So in between, that point.
Well, that's really huge. There's a lot said, what you say right there, overcompensate, and I think that's good. Like he's realizing that when he says hang out, guys, understand we'll do some training, things like that. We have Sean Mike coming in, Bobby from Marico is going to be here. We've got top producers that maybe he hasn't been around that are going to be in here. Todd Osberger's coming, Eric Mottie's coming in. I mean, just guys he hasn't maybe met, he can learn from, right? So that's what he means by hanging out. It's still work, but it's a lot of fun. Like we get to, be around mentors and other people can help us, and he'll be doing some training because he needs to talk about what he did this weekend. So what is your mindset going into a dial day? So like, okay, what do you say to the person? It's like, well, the leads. And then they say, well, this person doesn't pick up and all that other junk that you hear. Because that's really all it is just junk. Because it's just a mindset. I was talking to Shadi, he was in here, and I don't know if you knew this, we did that podcast, and I was asking him, how many times you call late? He goes, as many as it takes. However he says that. I can't talk like him. But he's from Israel, and he, has a language thing there he has to overcome too. But it's just like he's either going to knock on their door or whatever. But can you talk about that a little bit? Because I know you probably ran into that some this weekend before you made those calls on Thursday.
Yeah, I learned very quickly a lead as an individual, so not two are ever the same. As far as that goes, no matter, like for instance, this past weekend, I wrote a little bit on each lead, 1 month, regular new internet leads, age mortgage. So all leads work. At the end of the day, I think the main focus going into a dial day is making sure you have enough leads, because at the end of the day, like I just need 15 to say yes. So I don't care who says no. I'd rather actually they answer and say no than for me to call them 9 times in a day. So go ahead, say no. so I can move on. Alex Strait said on a call a while back, he's looking for 50 no's. Like, he don't even care about the yeses. He wants 50 no's because he knows that if he gets 50 no's, he's more than likely got his day booked. So I just focus on just running through the calls three times in a row, 3 times a day. That's my dial pattern. I just organize them and call them and do whatever I got to do.
What do you say to people that just struggle with dials? Like they just get in their head. They're like, I don't like dialing the phone, whatever. And I mean, I get it. But for me, I had to come in the office. I had to force myself, and seriously, force myself to sit. 'Cause I don't like to sit much. Sit in that office and dial until I got my appointments done, and I didn't leave until it was done. You said 15 appointments, right? The other thing I wanted you to talk briefly about, but there's a different way to call each lead, right? It's the same, but it's different, right? So like you mentioned the Age Morgan lead, which I believe are great. I mean, especially at the $2.50, my goodness. But, if you just sold one of those, I mean, my goodness. But could you talk about just the difference in how you're, maybe a couple of things that might help somebody and how you call them and the mentality behind it?
Yeah, so, I used to be the guy, I hate dialing, right? And, there's a couple things about dialing. It's like, if you really think about what we do here, we're sitting in a chair calling people who have asked for our phone call and asked for help. So it's not like I've had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, get over yourself. Like, who do you think you are that you can come here and you don't have to dial? Dialing is a part, like, there's nothing worse than going into Tuesday, Wednesday when you didn't put the work in to provide the appointments. So it's a mindset. Like, I think that you have to, and I work on all the things that I say, I work on myself. So you have to change your mindset. Instead of saying I have to dial, I get to dial. Little positive, mental thoughts are going to trump the negative thoughts. So no matter what you're thinking, that's what you're going to say. So focus on being positive. As far as lead differences and calling them, obviously I think the aged, the 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, I really love, because when I call them on the phone, obviously they filled out a card, right? So I call them up and I'm like, Dave, hey Dave, this is Mike Curry. I'm actually a manager here. We got this card back a few weeks ago, and it looks like it was never taken care of. I'm just got to get these out there. This was for that property over at 123 Main Street. Looks like you put down the mortgage amount of $150,000. Was that a refi or a finance? It looks like it was April 1st, 2021. Oh, that was
I just filled out that card. I didn't know what I wanted.
We'll see.
Filled it out.
Yeah. Perfect. So like I said, my job is just to get you the information. I'm a manager. If this came across my desk, my job is just to get it to you. Okay. So it looks like that property address, is that a house or is that a condo, townhome?
It's a house, but what if I already have something? Already got that taken care of.
Yeah, so like I said, that's not a problem at all. My job is just to get this out there to you. So we have about 30 different companies. It's not my job really to decide which one makes the most sense. My job is just to get you the information. It takes 10 or 15 minutes. I'm just going to swing by. As far as time goes, are you working or retired?
Working.
Working, perfect. So I don't have, I always struggle with phone script when I'm on the podcast. Good. So working, okay, perfect. So are you single or married?
Married.
Married, okay. So you and the wife, looks like I do have a little bit of availability tomorrow and Wednesday. What's your work schedule look like tomorrow?
I'm thinking off at 5. Have dinner, that kind of thing.
5, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to be out there pretty much all day. Like I said, I have about 20 to 30 of these to get out. Only takes 10 minutes. I can swing by. I don't have anything right at 5:30, but I do have a 6:15 or a 6:45. Which one would you want?
6:15 sounds okay.
6:15.
I guess.
Awesome, perfect. So I'll have you off the phone here in just a second. Can you grab a pen and a piece of paper for me? All right, perfect. Go ahead, write down my name. That's Mike, state license number, and then write me in at 6:45. Awesome. And then, Dave, do you have any big dogs, or is there a gate code into your community?
No.
None? Perfect. Okay, so I'll be in a black Chevy truck. I'm 6 foot tall, brown hair. I'll have my name tag on that has that state license number. You can go ahead and look me up if you want to. Just go ahead and let the wife know I'll be there. And, if you see me coming up the driveway, you can put the shotgun away, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Perfect. Look forward to meeting you and helping you.
Yeah. So that's good, guys. And we just like, I mean, you understand like when he's going through that, he's just pushing through, right? He's pushing through that door, understanding that. But I think the reason I brought that up is with the mortgage is that what I've heard, and I haven't called it myself because I mean I have some before, but not like the ones we're talking about now. But I was hearing somebody say it, and actually it was Sean, and Sean was speaking about like one of the things he said, that I think we can use if we're watching this is, hey, everyone needs an annual review. Guys, like our job is not done because we can't assume that they have the coverage that they need. Our job is to actually get them the information because they filled out the card. We have that card. And so that's whether Mike's doing it that way where he sees 30 other companies, which is true. And we can help a lot of people. But it may just be we need to review it because, I mean, let's just be real. Some of these agents, they go out there and they have one company or two or three and they can't get them covered properly. I mean, I've had multiple times, I don't know about you, Mike, where I've gone in. I'll never forget, early on, I had a lady answer the phone and I just missed I just got a couple of days after someone else had been there, and she actually had AIG. Well, using it in today's terms, I'll just say it this way: I was like, "Well, you sound healthy. How old?" She's like 52. She was telling me a couple of things, but her health wasn't that bad. She had high blood pressure and diabetes. That was it. I'm like, AIG, why? And she says, build. Well, guys, listen, Aetna, there you go. So, we know we can take care of that. And when you're able to go in there and get them Aetna, and by the way, when I went in there, long story short, her husband, he had written Mutual and he had written AIG. And the Mutual was a whole life policy of $15,000. Well, here's the thing. When I talked to the guy, he was like, he just wanted to be cremated, right? He didn't need $15,000. Now, well, here's the thing I did find out the other agent didn't, is he owed like $50,000-$60,000 on his house, right? So the guy was healthy. He got 40, I think we ended up getting like 40 to 50, not quite covering the whole house, but that's what he could afford. We kept him in the same amount of budget. So I left there and he had $4 or $5 grand for the cremation and whole life with Eagle. And then he had a CBO policy where his return of premium in 15 years, his house would be paid off. And I walked out and think of the feeling that I had walking out knowing his wife was covered. I was able to look at him and go, if she dies tomorrow, she's covered, where otherwise you'd have to wait 2 years.
Right.
So that's not assuming that they're covered probably. So Mike, talk about some of the things you've ran into because you've pushed through some of those things. What has it been like to you when you've gotten a house and it's that person that's really hard on the phone? Or you mentioned it to me earlier, like you call them the next day. What happens sometimes when you do that?
Yeah, so honestly, my weekend was full of that. I had a couple different situations where, the lady, in this case, the guy, like, so I get really personable. I have a really hard time training on like my in-home because obviously I go through the flow, I do everything, I tell them who we are, all the intro, all that, but I get really personal and dig really deep. So every conversation I have is different because everyone, has different story, different background, different situation. So, one of the things, just to give you an example, though, I had yesterday it was one of the mortgage leads, appointments that I had booked. And when we went out, we, dug through the situation, found out that, if something, I'm not going to mention his name, if something would have happened to the husband yesterday, the wife can't even make the mortgage payment this month. However, he brought in $4K a month, so if something happened to her, she's fine. And so rather than like digging through, we assessed the situation, beefed up his coverage, right, to make sure that in this case they were older, so I used the term equity protection, right? So a lot of people get, caught up on paying off the whole house. Well, depending on your age and budget, you can't pay off the whole house. And it doesn't really even need to be, paid off. So you find out situations like, okay, is this a house, right? If it's more of a personal situation where the house was built by the homeowner, or, it's a special house, then maybe it's a little bit more important to try to find something. But if they don't care, at the end of the day, you're just trying to help her make the mortgage payment long enough to where she's fine and can make a financial decision that doesn't cost her the equity they have built. So it's just ins and outs of understanding each situation. We were able to get him 2 years of mortgage payments. So when I show the options, I don't even talk about the amount of coverage. Like you break, because it's all different. It's broken down in what their specific mortgage payment is, right? And then I multiply that, obviously, and I do the math. So, and then I show them 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. How many mortgage payments do you want to leave for the wife here? And then he chose 2 years, wrote him up. It was an Eagle policy. And she was like, well, is this life insurance? Is this life insurance? I'm like, it covers your life when you pass away. However, this is for your mortgage. So this is equity protection, right? Because it's all labels. Obviously, it's life insurance,
Sure.
right? Mortgage protection, it's all life insurance. It's on your life, but it's all in the way that you present things, because she wasn't like she wasn't looking for life insurance.
Right.
Does that make sense what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's the thing I think we have to do as we kind of wrap it up here. But, you know, what I used to say, and I'm sure you're basically saying the same thing, but you have to be willing to look at a husband and wife. And you have to say, look, do you want to leave her in a position like this? You don't, right? You got me here. I understand you want to cover the whole house. But in Mike's case, he's saying, hey, for the next 2-3 years. See, here's the thing. When people die, you mentioned this special house, but let me just say this. Every house is special. Like, and I'm not saying what you said is wrong. I'm just saying, think about it. That's how you have to make it through. If you're married, you got to look at it and say, look, think about you passing away. It's already enough emotional. It's already enough stuff going on that the last thing she needs to worry about, how she's going to pay the house, right? So having that policy in place allows her time to grieve, time to not think about it. You said you had other life insurance. That's what that's for. That's to take care of your burial. This right here is so that she doesn't have to worry about, hey, what am I going to do with this house? Now, she may eventually want to sell it, but then again, she may not. Maybe the grandkids are there, whatever the case may be, you know, the family. She can make that decision and not have to worry about how she's going to pay it. And that's what we have to do. And so I think it's pulling on those emotional heartstrings and everything we do. So as we wrap up here, man, that's good stuff, by the way. We got to redo this and do some more stuff. That's why I love talking to Mike. But guys, Mike has been here a very short time, and in 6 months changed his life. Let's just be clear here. 200 and some odd $1,000 he's made. And, you know, so what are some last comments you'd make? Somebody's watching this. They want to work with you also. We're in the Charlotte office, but we hire anywhere. So make sure you give them your number, how to get a hold of you, that kind of thing, and just tell them maybe why they want to be here at FFL.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably curious about what we do here. And, you know, if you're someone who wants to work hard, is willing to work hard, you're coachable, you're willing to put in the hours and the grind to what it takes to really be successful here, you can come in and you can make some quick income. But the crazy thing about what we do is, like, you're developing a skill set to where, and Jamie tells me this all the time, like, we're developing a skill set to where we can go make money at will. You can literally, we have millions of leads across the country, thousands in most states, that you can literally buy your license. You get licensed where you live. You can buy your license anywhere across the country. You can travel anywhere to work, and you can go help people. And you can make, honestly, as much money as you really want to. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago to you. Like, you can literally buy your income here. And it's all about work. You know, buy the leads, dial them, and go to work. Don't overthink it. It's not that difficult. You know, the people that overthink it and think about all this stuff and go and try to study up here, all you're doing is slowing yourself down. You know, obviously there's ups and downs. You know, Grady told me this the other day. He's like, you know, the only difference in a top producer is they just go through the downs faster. And that really stuck with me. So it's like, go buy the leads, get started, pass your test, study for it, pass your test in 10 days, get fingerprinted, get licensed, and let's go to work. There's no reason to push it off and try to learn everything before. You're going to learn as you go. Sean says it all the time. You learn the best and you learn the most being in, making critical decisions, problem solving in the home, calling me, calling Dave, calling your manager when you're in the home, listening to the word tracks we say, writing the policies, get paid, and earn while you learn. They say it all the time, earn while you learn. Yeah. So, you know, if you want to work with me, obviously whoever, we're all growing here. My Instagram is Mike Curry _FFL. Phone number is 704-572-5096. Love to work with you, work with any of us. We just want you to win. We're all winning here, and hopefully we'll reach out.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, guys, thanks for being on today. Again, Dave Witcher, again, FFL Velocity, and I'm just honored to be in business with guys like Mike who just dive in with both feet, you know, listen, follow the blueprint, because their success equals all our success, and it's just another person who shows the FFL system works, right? He literally made $22,000 in the last couple of days, and some people we know don't even make that in 6 months or a year. So please understand that. And if it's not for you, reach out to us, whatever. And we are one big team. Thank you again, Sean and Andrew, for these platforms. And allow us to do the things that we're able to do every day. So we're super excited. Hope this helps somebody today. We look forward to seeing you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. on Weekend Warrior Podcast. And check out our YouTube, FFL Velocity, all over Facebook, all over different social medias, and of course, Family First Life on YouTube, Velocity. So thanks so much, and appreciate you, Mike, so much. I'm going to give you another for that 22K.
Thank you, Dave.
That's awesome, bro.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.